Hello, welcome to episode 4 of How to Jazz Cello. I kind of wanted to take a different approach with today's video. The last 3 videos we focused on how to spell chords, and as much as that's so fun and I want to do that forever, I want to kind of talk about a different angle of practice that you should be doing if you kind of want to get into this music, and that's transcribing. So first I want to define that word, because if that's a new word for you, it actually means something different than the literal definition. So the literal definition means to take music and to actually notate it and write it out. And in this case, I just mean learn something by ear and commit it to memory. But you should know it to the level such that you could write it out if you needed to, but that's just, we're taking out that in-between step. That's not to say you couldn't go and transcribe something by writing it out on paper, and people absolutely do that. But in this case, I want to showcase actually my approach to transcribing by, I'm going to just kind of throw myself into a transcription that I haven't done before, and I want to kind of get this on video and you guys can see what my process is like. So there's a really famous jazz solo that I actually regrettably have never transcribed, even though it's very popular. And this is the solo off of Freddie Freeloader. It's Miles Davis solo. So as a disclaimer, I've heard this song a lot, not a crazy number of times, but I have it in my ear a little bit, but I've never actually sat down and tried to learn it and then apply it to the cello. So my hope is I'm going to play this and I'm going to kind of just talk about what my approach is and how I begin transcribing something like this. So yeah, hopefully, I don't even know how copyright really works on YouTube. Maybe this will get copy striked, but whatever, I don't care. Hopefully they don't take the video down. This is the melody right here. So I know this melody, I've learned this before. So, okay, first, let me kind of break down that. So, I don't know where, I messed it up because I guess I don't know it that well, but I guess I learned that off of just listening to it. It's a pretty simple melody, right? Dun, dun. So, I just kind of want to okay, I know it's a super simple melody, but I want to break down what I'm thinking. So, that melody first, I'm singing it in my head, right? That's the first step. Is I listen to this a bunch of times and I am basically singing along in my head. Ba-da. That's not anticipated. Ba-da. Yes, just half notes. Da-da. Ba-da. Ba-ba. Part of the one of my inclinations, which is funny, this is a habit of mine, is to anticipate notes as they go into measures. This is I guess a jazz musician idiosyncrasy. Sometimes we want to add an 8th note from the and of 4 tied onto the next measure. Maybe I'm going off on a tangent, but instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We kind of we start that second note a little early to make it swing. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and to count. But it's not that. So, anyways, yeah, it's just half notes. Da, da, which honestly kind of swings even harder somehow. I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, there's something to be. Okay, so that's the melody. First, I would sing it in my head, and I'd give myself the starting pitch. I'm allowed to search around and find that first note. We're in the key of B flat, but that first note is G. So if I were transcribing just the melody, I would find the note on my cello. I would search out. Cool. And then once you find the starting note and you've confirmed that it's a G. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Once you find that G, I don't touch the cello, and I practice hearing the intervals. So, dun, dun. So how many half steps is that? Dun, da, da. There's nothing in between there. So that's 2 half steps. That's a whole step. So, da, da. That's what a whole step sounds like. Cool. All right. So now I know that that must be a G and then an F. Okay. Then I think we go... This is the end of the form. Here's the top of the melody right here. Okay, it repeats itself. Dun, dun. Okay, so that goes up a fifth. Dun, da, da. It's so important to like go through every note and do this because some people have great ears and will just guess and then they don't have that, discipline to sit down and figure it out, and you'll never get better. Your ear will never get better. It will be about as talented as you were born with, and you will never develop it. So, like that interval right there, dun da, hearing that that's a perfect fifth. So I know that it goes from F to C, right? And then it goes down a half step again. Da da. Da da. That's a B flat because it's down a whole step. Da da da. Okay, so dun to da, dun 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 dun. That's a minor third. Dun dun. So that goes from F to A flat, and then what note after? So it goes dun 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 dun. That's a half step. So it goes minor third, half step, and then it goes down in half steps. So dun dun dun. So A flat G, and then G, and then F sharp, and then it, wait, actually, am I wrong? Sorry, let me go back one more time. So it goes G, F sharp, G, F, so half step, whole step, right? So I'm kind of going, I'm like, putting super fine magnifying glass on this right now. So if you've never transcribed before, and you're just getting into it, just know, like, this is what it takes, is you have to know the intervals between the notes, and you have to practice naming the notes. And then after that, I'm going to just sit here for a second. I'm going to imagine what those notes look like fingering-wise on the cello. So after I know, and like I said, I kind of have already heard this melody before, so I'm sort of replaying the process for you. But, like, it would go like G, F, and then C, B flat. Okay, so I'm going to go 4 on the D string, 2 on the D string, and then 4 on the D string, and then 2 on the D string, and then I can go 2 on the A string, and then extension back 1 on the A string, and then I can go 4 on the D string, 2 on the D string. So I'm imagining all these fingerings before I touch it. And then I can actually do it. And also, I know these are easy notes. I know it's not like, a crazy bebop solo yet or something. But for a big part of this also is your touch and your tone. I know I'm not like in tune all the time, but like one thing that I really try to pay attention to is my bow's contact point on the strings constantly. It just feels different than classical. I really try to imagine that I'm playing a trumpet, and that has to do a lot with the attacks of notes. So like, just grabbing the string in a right way or in a more horn-like way. I try to imagine that the beginnings of notes have just slightly more like ping, and that it has like, a consistent like stream of air, like a horn player might try to push air. There's this like constant motion in the bow that always stays attached to the string. I kind of, especially when I'm like trying to sound like a trumpet player, I actually, it's a weird line to toe between like the breathy, airy quality you can get with the bow sometimes, and also that super pure like string, like just the core of the string. Like that core of the string sounds like this. Like that's the string purely, and then like sort of breathy would be like, where you just add like you release a little bit of pressure and you add a little bit of that like the like into it. I'm like constantly trying to be aware of that. And like sax players, like that breathy quality comes out even more. And the breathy quality I might think of like more so like instead of talking about bow necessarily, I'm actually thinking about what string I'm on. Like the lower strings, especially the higher positions, sound breathier. I know there are lots of like classical pieces, or there are a few classical pieces that I know of that like, you know, will try and have cellists try to imitate flute players, and they're like super high up in G and C strings because that has like this breathy, fluty quality. And that totally translates. Like if you play up in kind of like medium high positions on lower strings, it'll sound more like woodwindy. It might be like really dark, like I might kind of as opposed to like and I might change the strings I'm playing on depending on the player. You know, like there are players that, like Ben Webster is a sax player that plays like with super breathy, like super, especially when he's playing like ballads. Like I transcribed Stardust by Ben Webster, and that song is all up on the D and G string, you know, like all up here. But when you're transcribing like Sonny Rollins or, you know, Coltrane or some, like, you know, these players are like much more pure in their tone, it feels like, and you can use like just first position and right, that was not a Coltrane lick, but you know, you could just kind of like that color feels more appropriate. I'm totally going off on a tangent. I'm gonna like not edit this video as much though. I kind of, you know, I've been lacking on the content, so hopefully this is helpful to some extent. Okay, let's move on to the solo. I'm gonna kind of go into like real transcribing mode, and I'll kind of step back from commentary a little bit. So you'll just kind of see what I'm doing, and I'll explain, I guess, like a little bit of what I'm doing, but just keep in mind, like the whole process is like, I will sing a phrase, I will think about the execution, and I will not execute until I've come up with a plan that in my mind is foolproof. And if I make mistakes, then I know where I've made the mistake in that signal chain. Okay. Okay, so we have the piano solo first. I'm gonna skip ahead. Cool. B flat, B flat, B flat. G, B flat, G, A flat, C. Ba 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 da da da. G flat, B flat, D flat, E flat, D flat, G ba boo, boom, boom ba ba da ba boo. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 da 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 ba ba da ba 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 ba. Yeah. Ba ba da ba 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 ba. Okay. Ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da ba da da da. B flat, A flat, G, A flat, C, G, F, ba da 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 ba da 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 ba 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 da 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 ba da 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 ba 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 da ba ba da 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 da. That's cool. Let me listen to that one more time, make sure I got it right. A G A G A G A B flat F G A flat E flat ba da 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 da. Is that the right? It's a little weird fingering. Ba-boo, ba-ba-boo, 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 ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-boo, ba-da-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-boo, ba-ba. Da-da-doo, da-da-da-da-doo, da-da-doo, da-da-doo. Ba-da-da-doo, da-da-doo, da-da-doo. That's kind of good. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. F sharp, B flat, D, F, F. Dun 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 dun. That's our major 7 sharp 5 arpeggio. Ba 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 boo. So I have a finger, which we already did in our previous video, I think. Ba 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 ba. A flat, G, G, E flat. So I practiced that one because I was out of tune on the first note, and that was I'm trying to be aware of where I'm messing up in the signal chain of like listening, converting to fingerings, execution. So in that case, I failed executing, and I needed to practice that phrase a little bit so I could kind of ingrain. That's where an A flat is. You know, okay. Ba ba da 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 da. I think he also played a G too. Da 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 da. I forgot. Ba ba da 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 da. Is he playing a G? No, I think he's just da da da. Yeah, he's just resting. Da da da. Ba ba da. Ba ba da ba 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 da. Is that correct? Ba 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 ba. Yeah. Ta ba ba da 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 ba. Da ba da ba ba da ba. Da 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 ba. Da 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 ba da ba. Da ba da da ba da ba. Da 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 ba. There's a very like specific way he's swinging. Da ba ba da 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 ba da ba da 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 ba. Like there's little micro timing things here. Ba ba da ba 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 ba. Like da da is like those two notes are closer together than any other eighth note. Maybe they're not. It feels cool. Ba ba da 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 ba. And then da 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 ba 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 boo. Ba 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 boo. So that's it. Another thing, maybe a random, thing to mention, but I never use vibrato, basically, when I'm transcribing. Like, it's got to be perfectly in tune. Like, I mean, firstly, because he's not vibrating. Secondly, because, like, when people improvise, it's just scales out of order. You don't play your scales with vibrato. So, I think of this as an intonation exercise, too. But, yeah. So D flat, F, E flat, G, F, F, ba ba da ba ba. Ba ba da 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 da. So he like bends down to a C almost, so it's like D flat. But I forgot the lick. What is he? I love that lick. That's cool. Sorry, I'm trying to... ba ba da 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 ba da right? Ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba 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 dun 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 bum 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 ba da bum 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 dun ba bum 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 bum. I'm almost thinking this phrase is like 3 parts, so it's like bum 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 bum. I don't know. Bum 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. I say we play that on the cello. Da ba da bum 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 ba da dun 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 bum bum bum. So I wasn't hearing it right. Bum 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 bum. So again. Ah, I keep messing that up. One more time. So I know that's just an F major scale. Dun da bum dun 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 ba, and then he goes down to the flat 7. Dun dun bum 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 bum. So another cool thing is like, I know this is a blues. We can talk about that in another video, but I know this is a blues. I also know that the chord that he's improvising over is an F7, which, if you remember the chord video, you know, has an F, an A, a C, and an E flat. This is the 1, the 3, the 5, and the flat 7. And this is a cool line because it's like, so he's, let's talk about scale degrees for a second. Over this F7, which is the harmonic piece of information he's been given to improvise, he's playing first the 3rd, and then the 9th, or the 2nd, same thing, and then 1, 9, open, or the 3, and then the 4, the 11, and then the flat 7, which all work. That's a cool lick. That's really cool. Not there. So that's just an F minor scale. Yeah. That's cool. It's almost like both. This feels too bright. This feels too dark. I'm in a bit of a bind. No, I think it's got to be. I think that fits better. Like, I'm just trying to match his tone. I think that fingering, which means I should probably go like, boom, 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 da, da. Cool. Cool, and we're back to the top of the chorus. So that was one chorus. I did it line by line. Now, in like a real practice session, I would then go back after what I've done, and I would just do it like a bunch more times, singing through it. so that I can memorize it. Like, memorizing then becomes the game. I should be able to just, I'm going to turn this on around the house. I'm going to be singing this constantly, you know, and I'm going to be trying to just memorize it. I've already figured out fingerings. I kind of already knows how, like, it's going to sit, kind of some decisions fingering wise. And I'm just going to listen to this throughout the day. And yeah, and then I'm going to play through it. So I'll upload this to Instagram or something, like a, you know, the actual transcription of a chorus of this or something, so that you guys can see it. But as far as the process, this is what I do. And yeah, so just to kind of summarize, listen to it a bunch, sing the phrases first, figure out the fingerings before you touch the instrument, and pay as much attention as you can to like tone and color, and feel. Make it, like, don't make it sound classical. Like, it is pretty, but it's just pretty in a different way. So yeah, anyways, good luck. Happy transcribing. Do this solo. This is a great easy solo. Another easy solo I did when I was kind of starting is If I Were a Bell by Miles Davis. That solo I learned really well. And there are some other, Miles Davis is just like a great resource for, like, you know, I mean, he can shred, but like there's some great solos of his that, you know, he's masterfully improvising with not a lot of notes. So can be good if you are kind of just getting into it and want to be able to hear this stuff. Okay, that's all for today. Extra long video. Needed to make up for the lack of content in the past couple weeks, but I appreciate your guys' feedback on the last videos. It seems like you guys really want more of this, so I'm gonna try to, you know, keep this stuff coming. It's really exciting for me. I enjoy making these kinds of videos, but I just need to find, you know, time to make them. So anyways, if you guys have like specific questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments. And again, like at all times, my email address and also my Instagram DMs are always, you know, open for inquiry, whether you have just a question about practice or you want to take lessons or anything like that. So yeah, my email, I'll put it in the description. So all right, take care, guys.